welcome to the Tavern Chat Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Tenkar. With me is my lovely wife, Rachel.
Hello.
Today is a Friday. We are going to be doing an episode of Gamers Health. Now, we got confirmation that next week's Gamers Health, which may be recorded this weekend, will have none other than Joe the Lawyer as a special guest.
Yay!
So, I'm looking forward to doing that. So, where are we at? Last week we talked about the fact that we got our new Proform bike from the iFit, and it is impressive. Now I had to get a padded seat cover because it had one of those racing bike seats and.
Oh, is that what they call it?
Yeah.
They look torturous.
Yeah, not good for my ass. Not good for my ass. But it looks like a significant piece of furniture. It's actually attractive. It looks like
it is stylishly attractive.
It's stylishly attractive. It looks like it fits the room. So I'm going to, and I find that 10 minutes on this bike is worth 22 on the old bike. It's impressive. It really, my legs feel it, and you need a day or two
to
recover my. Yeah, it's.
I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah,
I need to get the seat lowered so I can.
All right, we can do that.
Jump on there tomorrow.
But it's my thighs. I feel it. It's my thighs. So, what's been special this week, besides more doctor's appointments and testing? That should be winding down, though. Thank God. Is that I've had people reach out and thank me and Rach for doing these podcasts, for dealing with Gamers Health. Now, I truly feel a passion about this. I mean, I will be the first person to admit that I did not live the healthiest lifestyle when it came to eating and I guess even drinking, because there's a lot of empty calories in beer, and in my physical activities. Now, it's not every gamer I know. I know some gamers that holy fucking shit, and I gotta bring Larry me in one night, that are in great physical fucking shape, and they still abuse hard spirits on occasions, and yet still they don't look like your stereotypical gamer. I'm not saying to every listener it's a stereotypical gamer, but what I am going to ask is that you do something that I never wanted to do, and I probably didn't do until I was in a hospital bed with congestive heart failure, and that's to take a look at yourself. An actual look. Don't glance. Look at yourself and say to yourself, is this where I want to be physically? All right. I mean, one episode we'll probably talk about mental and emotional health, but before you can get that under your feet, you got to address your physical health. And I was in a hospital, and I said to myself, no, this is not where I want to be. I left the hospital weighing about 232, 233 pounds. And my weight with the water retention hit a high of 292 and a half. And my normal weight was probably around 240, 245. I'm down today. It was down to just under 210. And it's important for me to take that weight off because it helps my damaged heart that was damaged from chemo and radiation and all that other shit. But I feel a drive, a need to address gamers' health, as does Rach. Now, Rach, you've been doing yoga training the last couple of days.
Yeah, the last 3 days I've been doing training in restorative yoga and, a little bit of yoga nidra and these types of yoga.
Yoga nidra?
Yeah.
Which is?
So I'm going to explain
Okay.
what they are. So these two types of yoga are basically meant to help somebody kind of restore themselves. So restorative yoga is postures that are supported by props, so that you use the most minimal amount of effort, so that this way energy is able to move through you. And this way kind of letting go of things that bind you, whether they be emotions, whether they be like physical ailments, things like that. And then the yoga nidra is it's basically a meditation of sorts, and again, it's like something that helps you to relax and sort of move through different states. And so it's interesting because it helps people be a little more aware of their unconscious. It's basically sort of guided meditations, lying down, not seated. And so, needless to say, I'm feeling pretty zenned out and relaxed.
Well, you've had 3 days of this.
So I've had 3 days of this, like, understanding the theory, so the reason why this is good, these practices are good for us is because it helps us be able to bring on the parasympathetic nervous system response.
Okay.
Often we are using our fight or flight sort of sympathetic nervous system, like to be aware or to defend ourselves in that like board meeting or whatever it is that we're doing during the day. And so our sympathetic nervous system kicks in straight away. It's like that.
Okay.
However, the parasympathetic nervous system takes a little while to get going, and it needs a little coaxing. So we do that through different types of breath work and through the practices of restorative yoga, yoga nidra, things like this.
And now this course that you were taking,
Mm-hmm.
this is so you can instruct students or instruct
Yes, help guide people
Yeah.
into the poses, and start to create some of the meditations. Also, if people have injuries, like looking at, it was really good because, it helps you, the training helped to bring like the attention to sort of alignment, like usually training does that, but with this, because you're moving energy through the body, you want to make sure that there's like a straight line between the crown of the head and the tailbone. So this way, because we have chakras, and our energy moves through different like meridians and chakras that are located at different points in our body. So
So
pretty
now,
interesting stuff.
now last year,
Mm-hmm.
Rach completed her 200 hours of yoga instructor training.
Yeah, like early, I completed the live stuff, and then last year, and then I think in March of this year, I got my 200-hour certification from the Yoga Alliance.
And last weekend, you started your further 300 hours
Yeah.
for a total of 500 hours.
Yes.
So, folks, I think I've mentioned this before, but I'll repeat this. In 2021, Rachel's plan is to, as she gets more conversant with Zoom, to offer maybe a class a month for members of the community.
Well, what's nice too is that some of these trainings are very helpful because with this training we were able to sort of, instead of like usual studio props like blocks and bolsters, we were able to learn what it's like to instruct people and also feel what it's like to use bed pillows and books as props, towels, blankets from home, things like that. So it's kind of cool. And you kind of, since it's all provided over Zoom, you have to,
Right.
Get to know it. So it's pretty nice.
Pretty cool. So
Yeah.
That's stuff to look forward to in the future. Now, I like to usually give out a recipe. I cook, when I cook for Rach and I, when it comes to the dinners, a lot of times it's just for the two of us, and I like doing like a chicken, like kind of like a stir fry deal where I take the chicken breast. I like to get the chicken breast already cut into strips, but uncooked, and I trim each of those strips into like 4 or 5 pieces. Heat up some olive oil, toss it in. By the way, and the strips, before I put them in, I marinate them. So, what was the marinade I used this past week?
Was that a ginger one?
Yes, it was like a ginger Thai,
Yeah.
and I also had some was not mojito,
Mojo.
which
It's like a citrusy garlic.
yes. So I marinated it in that for like an hour because you want to give a flavor to it, and even pour it in, the marinade into the olive oil just to give it a little extra flavor. And I started cooking it up. As the chicken started getting like it was cooked, I threw in some chopped onions, some chopped peppers, and then broccoli. Broccoli goes in last because broccoli is going to do 2 things. It's going to add water or moisture to your dish because you're going to cover it when you put the broccoli in. So it's kind of steam, but it's also going to really give the water for your sauce. You don't need to add any water to make this your sauce. And you could use regular pasta. We used the konjac noodles. I believe it was it the miracle pasta we were using?
I think so.
I believe that the miracle pasta is the pasta that you can use that only requires a rinse. It doesn't require you to parboil for 2 minutes after rinsing and then re-rinse and then throw it on a pan and cook it for a few minutes to dry it out. In this case, I just had to rinse it, and when my main dish was pretty much done, I had a choice. I could either put the pasta in a bowl and then cover it with the food and the sauce, or I could mix it in to the sauce and the food and serve it that way. And this time we had some nice deep bowls, so I went with the pasta underneath and then the chicken on top. Mm-hmm. But you know what? You can't go wrong. You season this stuff as flavor combinations that you like. I also put some garlic lovers, powdered seasoning on top of that too, because you kind of want to do the Emerald Lagasse, the pow, the bam. Bam. I forget the pow. So I don't know who did pow, but yeah, he was bam. Emerald Lagasse, bam. And, that's the fun stuff.
I mean, occasionally I think he did pow, because he's got that accent.
He might have. Yeah. All right. But, that and chili. And my chili, which I haven't used, one day I want to use chunked chicken, but I'd have to really cut those chunks smaller for the chili than I do when I'm making a stir fry. But the chili, I use a 1 pot. It's real quick. A couple of tablespoons of olive oil. I just eyeball it. You heat it up enough so you can then brown meat. I brown 2 pounds of 90% lean ground beef. Why? Because I don't want to have to drain the fat afterwards. So I go for a fairly lean cut of meat. As your meat's finishing up, I toss in usually 1 very large red onion chopped up, not too finely. It'll cook down. And then some recipes, they call for tomato sauce and crushed tomatoes. I have tomatoes either from the garden, but I also had some large grape tomatoes that were going a little soft. They were a little long in the tooth, not very soft, but you'd notice if you put them into a salad. I threw them in whole into there. I did 4 15-ounce cans of drained and rinsed kidney beans, 3 kidney beans, I think, 1 black bean. No salt added. 2 Mrs. Dash, no salt chili seasonings. A couple of dashes of no salt added hot sauce. I also threw in some chopped up pepper, green and red peppers. I like I like it's. I've never seen it in part of a recipe. I like the color. I like the flavor, and I like that the cherry tomatoes were really nice because after I cooked it up for about at this as a whole mix for about 20-25 minutes, I thought, man, maybe it could use a little bit more. It was a little, I don't want to say dry, but it was. So I took a small can of no salt tomato sauce, put that in, mixed it, and then I said, why is it so? I know why. Because these cherry tomatoes were nice and soft, but they hadn't popped. So I had to take my spoon and I had to pop all the cherry tomatoes to get the juice into the chili. Because when you chop up tomatoes, that happens automatically. But with cherry tomatoes, I was like, I did the, I'm lazy, I don't feel like cutting them in half. So I'll just toss them in. So it was just like, you're popping them in your chili, but it came out awesome. And why do I make up that much chili at once? Because we'll get 4 meals out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's...
Pop it in the freezer for whenever you want.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, if you're going to, make something like chili, which is so easy to pack, why not make it enough food? Why just cook for one night? Chili tastes better sometimes, like heat it up. So, folks, I really do appreciate you all listening. I think 2021 is going to be a huge year for the podcast, for Tenkar's Tavern website /blog. So, couldn't do any of this without your support. And as we stated, we want to get back to the community. Part of that's going to be Rach offering up some yoga lessons to you all, and I'll be putting out some more content, gaming content wise, and we'll be doing these Gamers Health podcasts. So again, I really I thank you from the bottom of my heart, because trying to change one life for the better, which is what my goal was as a cop for 20 years, and I know I changed at least one life, because that's a story for its own podcast, but if I can change one gamer's life to be a little bit healthier and add a few more years to their lifespan, because I'm trying to do with mine, this whole podcast has been a success. And I thank you. Folks, midst of a pandemic, use your common sense. Keep yourself, your family, your friends, your loved ones safe. And be safe, be well, God bless. Roll those dice. And God willing, I'll be talking with you again tomorrow. Remember, next week, Joe the lawyer will be joining us. And we can see if we encourage Joe to make a few healthy changes. All right, folks, good night.
Good night.